Good evening, Northern Colorado. This is Kyle, W0KJM. I'm located in Fort Collins, and I'll be net control for tonight's Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club TechNet. The purpose of the TechNet is to enlighten amateur radio operators on topics of a technical nature. We will do our best to answer any technical questions for the benefit of all those who are listening. If there's a subject that has never been made quite clear to you, this is a great opportunity to find an answer. If anyone feels they have information that will help regarding that subject, please give your call sign, and Net Control will call on you. This net may be interrupted at any time for emergencies or priority traffic. If you need to use the system for an emergency during the net, say break and give your call sign. We will acknowledge you and suspend the net until you advise that you are clear. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All licensed amateur radio operators with 70-centimeter privileges are encouraged to check into the net. Club membership is encouraged, but never required for participation. Check-ins are requested for the purpose of counting participation, and no checkout is ever required. This is W0KJM, net control for tonight's NCARC TechNet. When checking in, please give your call sign slowly, first alphabetically, then again using the ITU phonetic alphabet, along with your name and location. When checking in, please state if you have a topic you would like to discuss. Check-ins will be taken in groups of 3. When I have acknowledged the first group of 3, I will then move on to the next group of 3. I will start by taking check-ins from call suffixes alpha through Mike. Alpha through Mike, please call now.
Kilo Alpha 0, Lima Charlie Mike, KA0 LCM. This is Lance from Loveland.
W5BV, Whiskey 5 Victor Victor, Bill in Livermore.
AE0CF, Alpha Echo 0, Charlie Foxtrot, Ben, Fort Collins.
Fantastic. Net Control would like to acknowledge LCM, VV, and CF. Welcome to the net. I'll take the next group of 3. Please call now.
Whiskey 0, Lima Echo India, W0LEI, Chad in Stout.
WA9F Bill, Whiskey Alpha 9, Foxtrot Bravo Oscar, Bob in LaPorte.
W2MIC, Whiskey 2, Mike, India, Charlie, Mark, Loveland, No Squirrels, and one announcement about this week's ham radio lunch.
Net Control would like to acknowledge LEI, FBO, and MIC with an announcement. I'll take the next group of 3. Please call now.
Kilo, Foxtrot 0, Lima Delta Sierra, KF0 LDS. This is Norval in Lakewood. Just got back from the mountains in, I don't know, northern Colorado, close to Wyoming. Thank you.
This is KF0LES, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Lima Echo Sierra, Greg in Fort Collins.
Alrighty, Net Control would like to acknowledge LDS, LES, and there was a station in there, sounded like it ended in a Zulu from Milliken. If that's you, please call back.
KA2AUZ, Kilo Alpha 2, Alpha Uniform Zulu, Paul and Milliken.
Fantastic, got you in that time. Net Control would like to take the next group of 3, Alpha through Mike. Please call now.
This is N0EMP, November 0. Echo Mike Papa, Greg in Fort Collins. No Debbie tonight.
This is K0AZA, Kilo 0 Alpha Zulu Alpha, Ron in Fort Collins.
This is KY0 AZ, Kilo Yankee 0 Alpha Zulu.
Whiskey 7 Radio Fox Mobile, Dan in Fort Collins.
All right, Net Control would like to acknowledge N0EMP, K0AZA, KY0AZ, and W7RF. I'll take the next group of 3. Let's open it up to Alpha through Zulu. Please call now.
This is November 0, November Yankee Yankee. Oops, backwards, N0 NYY, Bart in Evans with N0 QXQ, November 0, Quebec, X-Ray, Quebec, Jean, Juliet Echo Alpha November, also in Evans.
K0MLG, Kilo 0, Mike, Lima Golf, Marty, near Wellington.
K0PQ, Kilo Echo 0, Papa, Uniform, Quebec, Bill, London.
Net Control would like to acknowledge NYY, QXQ, MLG, and PUQ. We'll take the next group 3. Alpha through Zulu, please call now.
This is KB0YDN, Kilo Bravo 0, Yankee Delta November, Eric, Pinewood Lake.
Net Control would like to acknowledge YDN. Are there any other check-ins, Alpha through Zulu? Please call now.
AD0, EXZ, Kilo Delta 0, Echo X-Ray Victor, Brian Graven.
This is W0KJM, Net Control for the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Weekly TechNet. We would like to acknowledge KD0EXV. Any other check-ins? Please call now. I wasn't able to get any of that. Was anybody able to hear him better than I could? That last station, could you try to improve your signal and please come back? Alrighty then, well, moving right along, let's call on W2MIC with an announcement. Take it away, Mark.
W2MIC. As some of you may know, every other week we get together for ham radio lunch. Yes, this is the week. Wednesday of this week, that's 2 days from today, we get together at the Perkins Restaurant at 11:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. Perkins Restaurant is at 2222 West Eisenhower Boulevard. That's Highway 34. And, we're typically there till 1, maybe a little bit later. Come whenever you wish because Perkins will feed you. And we typically have 8 to 12 people with centuries of amateur radio experience. So if you're an enthusiastic beginner and you want to learn about some aspect of ham radio, come on down because we've probably got somebody there who's done it. If you are an experienced ham who's done lots of things and would like to learn some new ones, same comment. And of course, if you're an experienced ham who is willing to work with newbies, come on down because we typically have some very enthusiastic newbies asking really good questions about everything from radios to transceivers to old stuff to those glow-in-the-dark things called tubes, to antennas, to NVIS, to NFEDs, to Yagis, to verticals, to using Windows screen for radials. Well, the list just goes on. So, Wednesday, 11:30 a.m., Perkins Restaurant, West Loveland, 2222 West Eisenhower Boulevard. Thank you, Kyle. Back to Net.
Does anybody have any questions for Mark? Right on. Does anybody have any questions for the TechNet tonight?
Just a late check-in. This is K0TNP, TJ from Windsor.
So I have an event coming up here soon. It's a bike race, and they last minute attached me to a SAG. I kind of got in my head that they were going to be putting me at an aid station, and I feel pretty comfortable at an aid station. But now I need to scramble and last minute put together a grab-and-go, quick deploy mobile radio box, I guess. So I had ordered another Anytone 578, as that's a radio that I'm very comfortable with, I guess we could say. I know my way around that radio more than most other radios. But I have a question regarding APRS. They had mentioned using a PNC or some other kind of equipment to interface with the radio into some kind of a laptop or something of that nature in order to decode APRS information. In the past, I've just used APRS.FI to view APRS data, but of course with something like that, you need internet, and where we're going to be, we're going to be lucky if we can even make it into the radio, into the repeaters, or especially the digipeaters for APRS. So, does anybody know of any good way to interface a radio into a computer for use with APRS decoding as well as messaging?
MLG. K0MLG.
MLG, go ahead.
Justin had the 578 in his Bronco, and he took it out. The APRS on those doesn't work all that great. I think you're going to run into more problems. A tiny tracker would probably be a better solution to go to your laptop. I just don't think Jim's back in town, ETE. I know Justin's not on the air, but APRS on those radios is a known issue unless they've fixed it that I don't know about. I think you may be running into problems there.
Gotcha. Tell me more about this tiny tracker. This is new to me.
It's a just an APRS specific application radio. I think the latest version. Well, the thing is, they don't do a lot of power. I think 5 watt. I haven't been on the website for a long time. There's other people out there. I'm sure that my laptop's not even turned on. Tiny Tracker 3 or 4 would probably be a better solution for you. I'm thinking while I'm talking here. Do you have a mag mount antenna and battery solution? If not, I could probably help you out there.
I do have a antenna mag mount solution that I pulled off the old car. And then as far as battery, we're actually just running off of the vehicle's power, so no concern there. I've got some kind of sort of jumper cable lead sort of things, much smaller. It'll just clip right onto the thing. I just need to find my Anderson power poles and convert that over, but that'll be no issue whatsoever there.
NYY.
NYY, take it away.
If I can get the grip on the microphone, apparently I cannot. I texted you a website. The company is Bionics, Bravo, Yankee, Oscar, November, India, Charlie, Sierra. They make the Tiny Tracks. The Tiny Track 4 by itself is $100. You have to add your own GPS. Tiny Track 4 and GPS combo is $170. The Tiny Track 3s are a little less than that. The link that I sent you has the user manual, the hookup guide, everything you could possibly want to know about it. I have heard of them. I've heard a lot of people use them, and everybody seems to like them. I have no practical experience. I just looked up the link and sent it to you. N0NYY back to net.
This is W0KJM, Net Control for the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Weekly TechNet. Thanks, Bart. I will pull that up on the laptop right here and get to looking at that. Do you or does Marty know if it is capable of messaging? I'd imagine it'd be capable of everything that you can do with APRS, but I'm so unfamiliar with this, and I live under a rock when it comes to this kind of a thing. I'm just now getting into it. So is it capable of APRS messaging, other like, or does it just do like beaconing?
MIC.
That sounded like MIC. Go ahead.
The last time I looked at the Tiny Trackers, they only did beaconing. You need a send and receive with beacons for where you are, receive on where other people are and what their orientation is, and send receive for APRS messaging.
NYY.
Go ahead.
Tiny Track 3 is a send only. Tiny Track 4 is send and receive. It does both. And I'm looking for the texting and stuff. I haven't found that yet, but I don't know anything about this. I'm reading as fast as I can.
Tiny Track 2, Tiny Track 4 will do everything you want, Kyle. A computer running APRS software can be connected to the second serial port to provide mapping of received traffic. So it's a digipeater, which the only other way you can digipeat is with a really high dollar Kenwood 710, which you're not going to want to buy one of those. So this would be your best solution. I know when Justin's 578 APRS would lock up. It would lock the radio up, and he would have to power down. And you dang sure don't want that on an event. I think you must be talking about Courage Classic. That's huge. You would foul things up for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's correct, Marty. It is the Courage Classic bike race, and yeah, I definitely want to be more of a asset than a liability. That's a big fear of mine. So I want to try and I'm running out of time because I'm such a good procrastinator, and my schedule's been all kinds of all over the place. So I want to get something put together, tested, get it proven to work before I head down there, and thankfully, though, I do have a safety net in case I don't get everything squared away in time. They do have extras, and SAGs get priority on extra equipment. So if I am unable to get this kit put together and working in time, I do have a safety net. But I would like to have something put together so that way any of these events in the future or anything else like that, I'll be ready to go and not be relying on handouts, because I want to be more of an asset than a liability. So.
EMP.
Well, here's another thing about these. You could also have this thing in your vehicle at all times, and I think they will power on. Let's just say somebody steals your new ride, and the radio powers on. They have no idea, and all of a sudden it starts sending out packet. And so you can just call 911, tell them to go to aprs.fi, look up your call sign, and they can find your car for you. So it's more, I mean, it's a good vehicle tracker for $170. It'll do that, and then, for your application, you're going to have to get the interface cable to the computer. A couple of cables you're going to need. So, for probably less than $250, you're going to have everything you need. And it's standalone. You don't have to worry about a radio going down, anything like that.
Fantastic. That was going to be my next question if it was standalone. So that's going to be great. And yeah, when I'm not using it at events, I plan on putting it in the vehicle. My car currently has a tracker from Ford. It has another aftermarket tracker. My dash cam also acts as a tracker, and now I'll have that as well. So it'll be pretty hard to get away with this car without everybody in the world knowing where you're at. So N0EMP, I heard you chime in there. Go ahead and take it away, Greg.
Thanks, Kyle. A couple other issues people have encountered when they end up being SAGs using someone else's vehicle. They'll show up on race day and they'll find out that the vehicle, that's the SAG vehicle that they're going to be riding in, has an aluminum roof. So the mag mount doesn't work. That happens. Another thing that happens is a SAG shows up and he or she has their UHF radio, VHF UHF radio for voice, and that is set to plug into a cigarette lighter adapter, and then they have some sort of APRS tracker that also plugs into a separate cigarette lighter plug, and they find out that SAG vehicle only has one DC port, cigarette lighter style plug style port. So those things have occurred in the past, so people want to make sure the mag mount's going to work ahead of time and have a splitter for those 12-volt power ports to make sure they have enough sockets available to plug stuff into. N0EMP.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for your input. I'm glad you mentioned that aluminum roof thing, because that would have been something I totally would have overlooked. I'm not worried about the cigarette lighter port, as I'm just going to run effectively like jumper cable leads all the way up to the battery and kind of wire that back in through probably an open window or something back to the radio. I will ask, they do Zoom meetings every Saturday, so this next Saturday, if I've got the time, I'll ask them about the roof situation and see if they know exactly what vehicles they've got or whatnot, and I'll try and figure out a alternative to a mag mount if that is the case, that they're running aluminum roofs, which I sure hope not. And then I guess my next question, in one of the email newsletters that they had put out, they had mentioned something about a Velcro mount for the dash. I don't know if we need to provide our own Velcro for that or how that's going to work. I'm very confused as to, because it's not my vehicle, I don't get the chance to look at it ahead of time. I need to figure out a good way of putting everything in a box or a bag that isn't going to take up too much space that I can easily put in and take out. And for something like that, I'm probably going to need to take that off the TechNet and bring that to like a ham lunch and see some physical options if anybody has those, but I'm still kind of up in the air as to whether or not I'll make it to the next ham lunch. So I'm going to be panicking slightly, but it'll be controlled chaos, so it'll be a good event. I'm really looking forward to it. Does anybody have any other questions or comments regarding this topic?
Did you see ever the radios, the mobile radios that I mounted to cutting boards and built a little PVC cage around them?
Yes, I do recall you showing me a Yaesu, I think it was like a 991 or something like that on a PVC cutting board, and I thought that was the coolest darn thing, and I'm probably going to be replicating something like that. My kind of idea, because I have a bunch of Pelican cases laying around at one of the, what was that? I think that was the Hamfest swap meet kind of thing. Bob W0BNC had a display going for Aries, and he had a bunch of radios and Pelican cases, and I thought that looked really attractive. So if I could either do like a PVC on a cutting board with some Velcro on the bottom, or a Pelican case or something like that, that might be the best way to go. But I was also wondering if there were any other ideas or any other options. Back to you, Greg.
Yeah, I did the cutting board with the cage around it specifically for two scenarios. One is sticking it in a backpack and having the PVC frame hold the fabric away from the radio for cooling. The other was when I'm in someone else's vehicle and I can just take that cutting board and the seatbelt buckle fits through the handle of the cutting board, the cutout where you can grab it. And the seatbelt buckle fits through that, so I can buckle it to a seat, or I can tie some webbing on the frame and hang it from a headrest of a seat, hang it behind a seat off the headrest. So that's exactly what that's for. And 0 EMP. NYY.
This is W0KJM Net Control for the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Weekly TechNet. Go ahead, Bart.
A couple of years ago, I did the Corvid Classic with Randy, and one of the things I saw in the sag wagons, I was not in one, but numerous guys had a piece of plywood that was probably 2 feet square. They had 3 radios mounted on it, and they had room. The radios are mounted in kind of an L configuration, and they had room on the lower right corner for a tablet, piece of paper that they could write on, or a laptop if they needed it. But they had 3 radios. They had an APRS radio, they had a dual band radio, and they had a spare radio. And most of the ones I saw, I think, were the TYTs. I don't remember. But that 3 radio board, there was several guys that had this 2x2 piece of plywood, and they set it on their lap. And they had a writing desk, and they had 3 radios, and they had 2 mag mount dual band antennas up on the roof or the hood. These were up on the front of the roof, I believe. One of the issues they had is that they would put bicycles up on the roof too, but the antennas were far enough forward that it wasn't an interference issue. So, just a possibility that I had seen. 3 radios on a piece of plywood doubles as a desk. 2 antennas, all your power comes into one place, branches out to the 3 radios, and there you go. And 0 NYY back to net.
That's a really good idea. I wish that they had pictures of like previous SAG setups, and I think that's going to be something I'm going to try to get this year and see if I can get them to push those out to everybody, all the volunteers that are new, so that way they have a little bit more of an idea as to what things are going to look like instead of going in blind. As far as a like computer interface for all this, my big Dell Toughbook laptop is probably more than I'm going to want to pack. I'd rather pack a little bit lighter than I normally do. And I've been wanting to get a Panasonic Tough tablet thing for a little while, and I finally pulled the trigger because I had a little bit of dough saved up. I picked up a Panasonic ToughPad FC M1, and that should be here in the coming days. So that'll be fun to test with. I think I'm going to pick up one of those Tiny Track 4s. That sounds like the best option. I'm going to do a little bit more research and a little bit of digging into this Tiny Track 4 and see what I can find out. But y'all have been a wonderful help, and I think that answers all my questions, and I think I'm pretty well set up for success. So thank you all so much. Are there any other topics of discussion for tonight's TechNet?
AZA.
Go on ahead, Ron.
Yeah, Kyle, a couple of things I might also throw out. I keep several pads. They're kind of a rubber pad that are real sticky on both sides. They're made for setting your cell phone on a dashboard, and I've actually used that with radios. They wouldn't hold your radio if you got rear-ended or had to slam on the brakes, but for slow piddling around, they're perfectly sturdy. Also, if you're parked stationary and you want to take your radio out and set it on the hood, which I do periodically, it's nice to be able to do that because it kind of sticks the radio to the hood so it doesn't slide off and or scratch the paint on the hood. One other thing, I speak this one from experience, is particularly if it's a rental vehicle, oftentimes the cigarette lighter fuses are blown. So I keep 20 amp ATC and mini ATC fuses in my box to be able to fix the rent-a-car when you find out your last remaining cigarette holder has a blown fuse. That's about, and if you'd like to borrow some of those pads, I've got several extras, just let me know. I think that's it. K0AZA is that, TechNet.
Thanks, Ron. That's a wonderful idea. There's so many things I would have never thought about, so I'm glad y'all have thought about them for me. Yeah, I think I might have to take you up on that offer. That sounds like such a good idea. I think I'd be missing out if I were to pass on that. That's such a good idea, and it sounds a lot better than Velcro, because especially if it is a rental vehicle, which it very well could be. I have no idea. I'd imagine the rental company wouldn't like a bunch of leftover adhesive on their dash. They probably wouldn't be too happy about that. So some kind of a sticky-ish thing that doesn't leave behind any goop would be a really good idea. So yeah, I'd love to take you up on that. Are there any other topics of discussion for tonight's TechNet?
EMP.
Take it away.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the model number on that Panasonic tablet you ordered.
Yeah, it's the Foxtrot Zulu Mike 1, the FCM1.
Thank you, M0EMP.
You're very welcome. This is W0KJM Net Control for the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club Weekly TechNet. Are there any late check-ins, additional comments, questions, or other discussion for the net?
Whiskey Alpha Zero Bravo Foxtrot Delta WA0BFD Jerry Loveland late check-in.
Net Control would like to acknowledge WA0BFD. Are there any other late check-ins?
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Golf Quebec India Doc in Pierce.
Fantastic, thanks Doc. Are there any other late check-ins for tonight's TechNet?
Kilo 0 Tango November Papa. This is TJ in Windsor. Late check-in.
Windsor.
All right, got a little bit of a double there. TJ, could you give me your call sign one more time, please?
Sure thing. This is TJ in Windsor. Kilo 0 Tango November Papa.
CNP, got you down. There was another Windsor station. Please call back.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 November Bravo Charlie. George in Windsor.
Sorry about that. My radio was doing a weird thing where it kind of shuts down for just a second. I got your suffix there, NBC. What was your prefix, please?
Kilo Foxtrot 0.
Fantastic. Net Control would like to acknowledge KF0 NBC. Are there any other late check-ins? Please call now.
Kilo Golf 6 Oscar Bravo Charlie. Justin.
Net Control would like to acknowledge KG6OBC. Welcome aboard. Any other late check-ins or topics of discussion for tonight's TechNet? Alrighty, well, hearing none, this concludes the NCARC TechNet. Net Control would like to thank each station for their participation. We had a total of 24 check-ins. This will occur next Monday at the same time on this repeater. This is W0KJM, closing the TechNet at 1838. 7-3s, and good night, everybody.
This presentation was brought to you by the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club. For more information, visit our website, ncarc.net. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.